What is up, everyone? Today I'm discussing Poison the Well and their sixth album, Peace in Place. This band super influential to the entire heavy music scene, honestly. When they put out Opposite of December, it changed everything in late 99 when they put this record out. Bands started popping up everywhere with this sound. Very heavy, with melodic parts in it. And it was just they created a format and a style that was duplicated, never replicated. I came on in between Opposite of December and Tear from the Red. Now I remember the big build for Tear from the Red because Opposite of December was such a huge record and influenced so much, and people were coming out to their shows in droves. And they had they had played Hellfest in Syracuse in 2000, and it was the video of Nerdy at Hellfest was on trustkill.com, and it was a lure of how great and big and amazing and insane Poison the Well shows were. And I came on and saw them for the very first time just a few weeks after Tear from the Red came out in 2002, one of my first shows. But today we're discussing their sixth record, Peace in Place. So they put out that Tear from the Red record, which is their second record, official record. And then they signed to Atlantic Records in 2003 or late in 2002, put out You Come Before You on Atlantic in summer 2003. And it was a huge stepping stone for them, having a major label record. I mean, and You Come Before You they're experimenting with stuff on that record, but it is definitely the most aggressive record to come out on Atlantic that I could think of at the time, for sure. They end up putting out touring and touring and touring, and then putting out a record called Versions, which was a big departure for them in 2007. I think that record came out. And then they put out a record called The Tropic Rot, which was kind of heading back, or in that same direction Versions was. And then they took a long hiatus, and we didn't hear from them until just a few years ago. They started playing shows. So yeah, last year I saw them do the 25th anniversary of Opposite of December. It comes out December 99. They did a 25th anniversary tour, a huge room filled out, and that is when they announced Better Lovers was on the show. Will Putney is a producer extraordinaire, and he plays guitar in Better Lovers. He and Poison the Well announced that they were in the studio with Will Putney recording a new record. That was, I had not read that on news sites. They released that and said that at the show when I went and saw them in Philly with my boy Eric. And yeah, so immediately I was very pumped. They announced the record months ago, and it finally came out this past Friday. Been listening to it all weekend, and I must say it is a return to form. I slot this record in. I don't like ranking. I'd go for Tear from the Red is my favorite record just because went through the entire release of that record, the build up to it, the release, seeing them just a few weeks after Tear from the Red was out. But I will say this slots in the 4 spot with You Come Before You, Tear from the Red, Opposite of December, somewhere in that top 3. I'm not going to rank them right now, but this is better than Tropic Rot and Versions. Like those records, do not love them, but do like this one a lot. Peace in Place. And this one, I love the artwork. It's obviously super grim, and the classic like scratchy cursive script Poison the Well font is just iconic for the band, iconic for the time, the movement. And yeah, so this they put it out on CD, obviously they put it out on vinyl too. I think this was supposed to be a poster that came with it, but they just folded it over. That's a very Sharp Tones record thing to do too. They've shipped stuff in the worst condition I've ever seen. But yeah, a nice little poster came with it. Frame that. But yeah, this is one of the variants. And this is let's see, what's this? This is a black and orange cornetto with red splatter. All the variants that I'm seeing everyone post came out great. This is my favorite. I'm glad I got this one out of 500. The record is amazing. Obviously, that's like a smoke. You could see kind of the reflection in it. Yeah, this one is like a smoke, black, and it just came out amazing. Played this, listened to the record, streaming all day Friday, came home. The record came Thursday night, and I was doing some podcasting with my friend Max, and I didn't get a chance to listen to the vinyl until Friday, unfortunately, and when I got home. But I had heard the record all day, listening to it in my ears. Nice little insert, the lyrics. I do wish this was a gatefold. I'm a huge fan of the gatefold. The gatefold vinyl is always my favorite. And it makes me feel a lot better about spending $30 on a vinyl. I can't remember how much this one was. Did purchase it with a shirt, as if I needed any more shirts. But yeah, this record, I'm slotting in the 4 spot right now. This is, and as you can see, I'm a sicko. So not only did I pre-order the vinyl, I went out and grabbed the CD. There's probably 5 to 6 bands I want to own every version of the record that can come out. I stopped buying like every variant, except for like maybe 2 bands. As long as I get one variant of the vinyl, I'm good. And I got to get the CD because this is digital forever. You can put it in disk drive and transpose it digitally forever. I love the red and white. See, I got the color theme for the episode. This record is very good. Track listing is Wax Mask, Primal Bloom, Thoroughbreds, which was the first single they released off the record. Everything Hurts, Weeping Tones, which they just put a new video out for. Yeah, Weeping Tones, Wake of Vultures, and then side B, if you're referring to the vinyl. Bad Bodies, Drifting Without End, Melted, and Plague Them the Most. There's also, as a minute or so goes by, there's also a hidden track, and the lyrics are in the lyric sheets. Mercedes is a hidden track that's on the end of Plague Them the Most. Plague Them the Most, great song. Wax Mask, the opening track, my favorite song on this record right now. And Weeping Tones is great. Bad Bodies is great. But, man, Wax Mask, great album opener. Great album opener. And they are known for their great album openers. Botula might be one of the greatest in metalcore, quote-unquote, history for opening tracks on a metalcore record, in my opinion. I love that song. But, yeah, Peace in Place. I love the color scheme, the black, the white, the red. It's just, and they do such a good job with artwork. Obviously, opposite of December, if you don't know. That artwork, legendary. Jacob Bannon did that. Of Converge, owns Deathwish. Also, if you went and bought... So I pre-ordered this on Poison the Well's site, but if you went to a local record store, they had a list of local record stores that if you bought a physical copy, either CD or vinyl, you got this cool little Poison the Well zine gimmick here. Now, I wish this was a little bit more, maybe like an interview or like some writings and stuff. It looks like it's just all pictures from the touring last year, which is indeed cool. But I was hoping for like maybe a little blurbs from each member. Unfortunately, we didn't get that. But as you can see, that's what the room looked like when I went and saw them in Philly. This isn't at the Philly location, I don't think. But this is, they played sold out shows. And it was crazy. It was crazy to see that many people singing along to songs that were, written before any of these people would go into shows, written before I was going to shows. I didn't start going to shows until early 2002, but this is a cool little zine, free with the purchase of physical media. We talk about physical media a lot on the channel, but this record I'm putting in the 4 spot right now. It's as good as their older material. I love it. It's, like I said, it's better than Versions in the Tropic Rot. This band is so important to that genre of the new age of metalcore. And they're a metalcore band that has so many different interests or so many different influences. You hear like surf rock riffs, and especially in the experimental records, and there's just so much, especially within the core songwriters, which is Jeff Marina, the singer, Chris Hornbrook, who is one of my favorite drummers in all of heavy music. He is a powerhouse drummer. And Ryan Primorak, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But that core group, he's only credited as Ryan on the record for whatever reason. But I love that core, that those three just know how to write together. This band is so integral to me. This is the band, although I love let's say I love OG Throwdown. I love 18 Visions. 18 Visions is definitely my favorite band of the era, and they're my second favorite band of all time behind the Ramones. But with Poison the Well is what broke me to listen to even more aggressive music. I was into like the street punk, the Rancid, Dropkick Murphys, and stuff like that. And the Ramones were already my favorite band. No one was going to replace them. But when I started hearing Bane and Hatebreed and Brothers Keeper and Disembodied and all these bands, Poison the Well was the one that really hooked me. Like Poison the Well, Hatebreed are the two that first hooked me and pulled me into a lot of the 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s sound. And Poison the Well were definitely kings of the mountain, especially at the time when you talk 2000, 2001, 2002. 100% kings of the heavy mountain in that era of music. I know a lot of people like to segregate hardcore, metalcore, everything. I'll just say heavy music because at the time, Poison the Well was gigantic. They're pulling gigantic crowds. I remember seeing them at Warped Tour '03 as well, and it was blowing my mind how many people were showing up to the Poison the Well stage because I knew people were going to be there. I had seen Poison the Well like 2 or 3 times before that, but I wasn't sure how they were going to do with the Warped Tour crowd because in my eyes, I was just like, they aren't the Used, but they had an entire. I couldn't even get near where obviously bigger stages they were playing at Warped Tour. I could not even get near where they were at that time. But yeah, this is a return to form. Peace in Place. Like I said, this is still has melody and melodicness to it, but there are songs that are just as pissed as ever, and I'm here for it. That Wax Mask song, I'm a huge fan of, and that Bad Bodies, another great song. This record feels comforting. As a huge Poison the Well fan, as a band that broke me into liking even more aggressive music, and were like a marquee band at the time in the early 2000s, they really set the tone then, and they still do now. Because honestly, seeing them in 2025 into a huge room filled out with people, they clearly still had it, and I'm excited to see them in a few weeks. They're playing with Converge, who also put out a record this year, who are also at the top of their game. And these legacy bands are putting out better records than newer bands, and that's why these bands are going to endure and live on. And we got a Poison the Well Converge tour happening with two of these bands that are legacy bands that are just put out new records, and both records are amazing. There are not newer records that are coming out that sound better than this. There is not a band I can think of the last like 5 to 7 years that has put out a record that has sounded as good as this, has sounded as good as Converge's new record. It's worrisome because I don't think bands are putting out full records anymore that are really good and concise and to the point and just sound as good as Peace in Place does or Converge's new record. It's a real problem. They're putting older legacy bands like Converge, legacy bands like Poison the Well are putting newer bands on notice. They can still do it and do it better than most anyone. They're putting a lot of bands on notice, and a lot of younger bands are being put on the spot and saying, "Can you do better than this?" Because apparently you can't, at least right now. Because this record, it's great. And I did a review on the new Converge record. You can go back down a few videos below. And I did that in February when it came out. But man, this one, Sharp Tone. Sharp Tone seems to be grabbing every band that is of that classic era and signing them. And newer bands like Better Lovers, obviously, very, X Every Time I Die. Put out Poison the Well. They put out Bleeding Through. They put out now a million different bands, but this record is great. I'm excited to this is kind of a quick review. This record is just, it is so great. To hear this too, to hear a band that hasn't put out a record in 17 years, Tropic Rock came out in 2009, then put out a record in 17 years, and the magic's still there. The magic's in Chris Hornbrook's hands and Ryan Premerick's hands and Jeff's Jeff's throat. Jeff's also his vocals have obviously gotten like huskier. And with age, it happens. I mean, he's screaming in your mid 40s. I mean, in late 40s, gone now. Like the fact that he sounds as great as he does, I'm elated. And he sounded great live too. And I'm so pumped to see these guys play with Converge in a few weeks. What a goddamn show, man. What a great show that's going to be. And yeah, if you like this review, if you like me talking about music, give a like, a subscribe. Let me know that you're listening. So and go check out Poison the Well, A Peace in Place. They're going to be on tour with Converge all April, I think. I think it's all April and some in May. You can go check it out. Go buy the record. Get it CD. You can get the vinyl. Several variants still available. And yeah, Poison the Well, man. Peace in Place. Go check it out.